us on today's tip of the week. Today we're going to be talking about security settings and users in TotalMD. To access this part of the program, we're going to go to Setup. It'll take us to this screen here, and up at the top left under the Practice Information box, we have Setup Users and Setup Security. First, we're going to go to Setup Users, so we'll click there. It's going to give us a list of all of our current users. If we'd like to create a new user, we can come over here, or we can also edit or delete users from here as well. Setting up a user is very simple. We're going to look at Doctor here, so I'll double click. Here we have the login, the name of the actual person, and their password, whatever that may be, and what level of security we want to assign them. Each of the levels of security has a different definition, which will determine what a user can or can't do. And so we'll talk about that in just a second when we go into the security part. Once somebody has users set up in the program, it'll require you to log in every time somebody goes into the program. We would encourage that each employee have their own login because the system's going to track what the person has done. So let's close this, go back out to the setup part of it, and we're going to jump into setup security. In here we can see what each of the levels mean. So we can see we have up to 5 different levels of security. If we click on the plus signs on each one of these little items here, it'll show us what each level can or can't do. So in this case, level 1 and level 2 can do all of these things, whereas level 5, for example, can't do any of them. You can go down through any of these parts of the program and see what can or can't be done. So for example, if I wanted to make it so that a front desk person could certainly create appointments or even edit them, but I don't want them to be able to delete appointments, I can uncheck that box on this box here. If I said I only want level 1 and 2 to be able to do that, and then I would save those changes. So we can go in and define what each of the levels 1 through 5 can or can't do, and then we assign those levels to each of the users in the program. This is great because not only can we go in and see what's been done in certain areas, so for example, if I wanted to come over and customize my view here, I can add user and last user. To my list, and it'll tell us which user was the one that created that account and who was the last one to go in there and modify it. In addition to that, if we go to our report section, there's 2 reports, specifically the user tracking report. We can put in a date range, and if we want to just see what a specific user did, I'm going to go ahead and leave it blank here and run it for everybody. And it's going to give us everything that was done by that particular user. So user number 1, it created an appointment for Bert Schnur and so on. You can go down and see everything. So we're trying to figure out maybe who did something in case there's some confusion on something or concern. We can see that. In addition to that, there's also the audit report, which will allow you to see if something was changed, what it used to be before it was changed. If we edited a transaction, we could see what the transaction was previously and what it is now. So if we needed to go back, if we accidentally changed something, we need to go back and see what it originally was. We can go in and run our audit report, which will then allow us to gather that information that we need to. So just some of the great reasons to set up users and security inside of the software. Thanks for joining us on today's tip of the week. We hope you'll join us again next time.